The best part of my life has been to have lived in the village.
It takes a village to raise a family.
Let's imagine how the children that are born today, therefore 100 years from now, will be talking about this time like we are talking about our time now. What do you imagine? What do you see?
I think they would really be dumbfounded at how basic we had things, because hopefully in 100 years there will be flying cars. I'm a big Star Trek fan, so there would be transporters, right? You would just beam.
You are really having a reservoir in your hands. What are they telling you? They are over 80, they are 90, 95. What are their preoccupations? What are they like sharing? What is going on in their mind?
I think one of the things that they share is exactly what you and I have been talking about. Keep living. Don't stop. And, you are the person who's in charge of your life and what's going to happen.
Let's flip the coin.
Okay.
If you could do something different from what you are doing today, what would you do?
I'm not one of those people that says, oh, I wish I hadn't done X, because I think everything that I have done in my life has made me who I am now.
Why do you think your client come to you for help?
Hopefully they come to me because I'm going to be honest and I'm going to give them great answers and great assistance and to help them be the best that they can be.
So let's go now.
Okay.
Please, let's start with what do you say about yourself? Then the conversation take on its own life.
So I am a cancer warrior. I am an entrepreneur. I am a wife, a friend, a volunteer, and I am somebody who absolutely loves life.
All right. That is interesting. That is the better part of the conversation. Somebody who extremely loves life. You see, we need to be passionate about life because if you're going to have a dream now, if you're going to say, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that, you need to have life first before you can do all those things, no?
Right. And of course, the tricky thing is we get caught up in the day-to-day that we forget that we need to have life and be living and enjoying whatever time we have.
That's so true. All right, now give us the privilege to be able to learn more about you, Deb. Tell me, what do you remember of your infancy growing up? What are we able to learn about that?
Well, I'm an only child. I grew up in the mountains of Colorado at an elevation of over 8,000 feet. And now here's something kind of fun. Just for my birthday, which was last week, my aunt sent me some pictures. And it
Congratulations, by the way.
Well, thank you. And the pictures included several pictures of when I was just several months old, all the way up to some more really fun pictures of when I was growing up. And I had this wild red hair even back then. It was a little more orange then. But I remember, it was a very small mountain town. In fact, my high school class only had 32 who graduated, and that was for the entire county. But I remember just having so much fun. And, we'd be on our bicycles until 10 o'clock at night. Now, I mentioned that I am an only child, so I was probably just a little bit spoiled, right? But, I really did love where I grew up. A lot of snow. We had snow pretty much year round. Even in July, it would snow. Now, it wouldn't stay, but yeah, we would have snow year round. So grew up skiing and sledding and skating and doing all of those things, but really just enjoying being a child. And I think that was one of the things that when I look at kids nowadays, I'm not sure they have some of those things.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful to say, I remember a couple of years ago, I published a book that I titled Amen That is Stream Water.
Mm,
So I remember in that book, I was talking about my experience growing
mhm,
up in Nigeria.
mhm,
Then, of course, now it is natural that I need to talk about my culture,
mhm,
but also about my growing up in the village.
mhm,
I sort of say to people quite often that the best part of my life has been to have lived in the
mhm,
village,
mhm,
in that now I am in contact with everything that is important in my life,
mhm,
my culture, my land, the people, in the crudest form of it,
mhm.
without the filters.
Yeah.
So in this book, I was talking about being able to swim in the flood.
Mhm,
You know, when the rain falls,
mhm,
the flood that is running on the water,
mhm,
that is running on the surface
mhm,
of the earth, very dirty.
mhm.
I will call it now. But then we didn't call it dirty. It was so dirty that it is red because
Ooh.
our land in
Mhm,
Esa is red.
mhm.
So of course,
Right. It
when
had
it
the
rain
mud.
now,
Mhm,
it had a mud
mhm,
in it. It's very
mhm.
red. But as children, we don't care. We just
Yeah.
jump into it in the rain, and we
Mhm,
are rolling,
mhm,
rolling, jumping all
mhm.
around. So when I was writing this book, I sort of maybe unconsciously let it filter into it because I didn't even remember this then.
Mhm.
But one day I gave this book to an anthropologist here in Italy
Huh.
to review it.
Mhm.
And she was telling me, I can even hear the perfume in the book.
Ah.
I can hear the sound of the
Mhm,
rain because there is a lot about the rain in
mhm,
the book
mhm,
because Amen in my place in Esa
mhm.
mean water.
Mm,
So Amen, I mean there is a lot of play that I did
mhm,
there. Amen there, and there meaning river.
mhm.
So anyway, I'm not really going in detail about the book. I'm just saying that it is because you made mention of whether the children of these days
Mhm.
have fun
Right.
living.
Mhm.
That is what we need to talk about.
Right.
Do we have fun living? Because in that
Mhm.
time, we had a lot of fun. We didn't have computer. I didn't have any
Uh-oh.
video game.
We
We had fun, a lot of fun.
frozen. Oh,
Yeah,
there we're
say
back.
something
We
about
froze
that.
there for a moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I'm guessing you and I, in a lot of ways, had very similar upbringings in those small villages and towns. And I think one of the things that was so wonderful about that was the fact that there's a saying here in the United States, it takes a village to raise a family. And I think that's very true. I never worried about getting in trouble because I had all sorts of other people who were paying attention and would tattle on me to my parents, right? So, I think growing up in that small town or village where everybody knew everybody else and we all were kind of a big extended family. That was a very long time ago. We won't say how long ago. I mentioned my birthday last week, and we just don't talk about those numbers, right? But I am still in
But
contact.
I'm sort of curious. Why don't we talk about those numbers sometime?
Well, okay, so I just turned 63. Which considering I almost,
Congratulations.
yeah,
Did,
well,
did I say that
thank you.
before?
And considering I almost died several times when I was ill, I love those birthdays, and hopefully I have a whole bunch more of them. Sometimes I think it's a female vanity thing, right? Where we just don't want to admit our age. But the cool thing is, yeah, I'm 63, but I'm still in contact with kids that I have known since I was five years old. Because again, it's that small town, it's knowing everybody. Now, Facebook has obviously helped with that, but I think that really does foster that big sense of family for us.
I wouldn't really ever to able to live those kind of life, even in the life of our children,
Hmm.
because I think the computer, the internet
Hmm.
age, the jet age have taken that.
Hmm.
Now, when you give birth to a child
Hmm.
as it's growing up,
Hmm.
you give the child to the robots,
Right.
to the computer,
Yeah.
and say
Hmm.
play.
Hmm.
So the child
Hmm.
need to play and figure out things.
Hmm.
Okay, this might go different direction, the conversation, but what I'm saying is that of course, it's not that we had computer, we choose not to play with it. We
Hmm.
didn't have it, so we play with
Right.
what we have.
We
We
read
were our
books.
computer.
Yeah, we amused ourselves, we read books. I think our friendships were probably much deeper.